I'm not one of those players with hundreds of hours logged in arc readers. I'm just a regular guy who really enjoys the game and fits it in when I can. I've put in about 60 hours, nothing wild, but I've managed to complete every quest and reach the endgame. My goal with this video is simple. If I can do it, so can you. I'm here to share the practical tips and strategies that help me get through every quest without needing to grind for weeks. So let's dive in and make your quest smoother, no matter how much time you have to play. Looking back, I realized the reason I wasn't making steady quest progress wasn't really about how skilled I was or how much I knew about the game. You don't need to be especially sharp or experienced to finish quests. What matters most is where your attention goes. I'd jump in planning to get some quests done, but I end up wandering off, chasing loot, or just play by mood. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the game that way, but if you want to push through quests efficiently, making questing your main focus is key. Once I started treating questing as my top priority, everything else started to fall into place. Another big lesson I learned the hard way: time really matters when you are questing. If I spawn in and there are only 17 minutes left on the clock, I've realized it's almost never worth sprinting across the whole map to reach a far-off quest area. Every time I tried, I'd end up rushing, taking risks, and skipping the kind of careful checks that usually keep me out of trouble. Suddenly, I'm ignoring other raiders, missing arcs, and getting impatient as extraction sites start to close. That's how rounds go sideways fast. Now, before I even move, I check the map to see where I am and think about the safest way to my quest. I ask myself, if I were another player looking for loot, which route would I take? Then I do my best to avoid those paths. Sometimes the safest path is just sticking to the very edge of the map, since most players tend to move towards the middle. For me, it's not about maximizing loot and getting into fights. I just want to get to my quest in one piece. In short, manage your time, pick your route with safety in mind, and don't let the pressure of the clock push you into bad decisions. Getting to the quest calmly and safely beats rushing and losing everything. One thing that really changed how I approach quests is understanding the two types you'll run into in arc readers. Some quests are simple. Just do the task, and even if you died right after, it still counts as complete. But others are trickier. You have to find specific items and actually bring them back to an NPC, which means you need to make it out alive. I've had plenty of runs where I made it to the quest area, grabbed the item, and then lost it all to another player's or an arc on the way out. That's when I started paying attention to my augment's safe pockets. Different augments give you different numbers of safe pockets. The more you have, usually the weaker the shield you can equip, and the more expensive it is to craft. But if you've got an augment with lots of safe pockets, or you know the blueprint and have the material to make one, it's a game changer for these quests. You can stash your quest items safely, so even if you died after grabbing them, you'll still complete the quest. Sure, you might lose your gear if you get caught before reaching the quest area, but that's just part of the game. For me, having a good augment takes a lot of pressure off and makes finishing those tougher quests way less stressful. Back when I was new, my approach to quest was pretty straightforward. Load into the game, open the map, read the quest description, and head for the marked spot. But pretty quickly, I'd get stuck. The quest descriptions are usually pretty vague, and half the time I'd arrive only to realize I needed to find a specific piece of equipment or an interactable object that's not clearly mentioned. At that point, I'd just start sweeping the area, scanning for those yellow highlights the game used to mark quest item and the interactable. Honestly, I've got used to doing this, and it was kind of fun and immersive at first. But wandering around looking for yellow markers also meant I'd run into patrolling arcs or non-friendly players, and I died a lot that way. Eventually, I realized that if I wanted to actually finish quests more reliably, I needed to go in with all the details. When I was working through my quests, if I ever wanted to power through a bunch in a few runs, I'd look up a guide beforehand. A quick search is all it takes to get step-by-step info for anything I need. It might feel a little tedious, but honestly, it's your choice. Going blind for the adventure, or look up the details and boost your odds. Once you know exactly what you are looking for, you can focus on getting there efficiently, which brings me to mobility. Let's talk about the mobility, because being able to move efficiently can make a huge difference in how many quests you get done. There are a bunch of skills that boost your overall mobility, making it easier to move, climb, slide, and keep your stamina up for longer stretches. I'll highlight those on screen as we go, but the real game changer for me is the adrenaline shot. The description says it fully restores stamina and temporarily increases stamina regeneration, and it really lives up to that. When you're about to run out of stamina, just pop one, and you're instantly back to full. Plus, you get a burst of fast stamina recovery for a short time. With a few of these, you can practically run non-stop. Seriously, you'll feel like a marathon runner, and they are super cheap to craft. Just 3 plastic parts and 3 chemicals. Once I realized how useful they are, I started bringing at least 5 into every raid. Crossing long distance became less of a problem. Remember earlier when I said going for a far-off quest with little time left usually isn't worth it? With adrenaline shots, sometimes it actually is. Of course, getting there quickly is only halfway the battle. Staying unnoticed can make the difference between success and ruin the round. Let's talk about stealth and bringing the right tools. If you want to avoid getting noticed by arcs or other raiders, it's smart to invest in the right stealth skills. I'll show my picks on the screen. These make you less likely to get spotted and give you more freedom to move around safely. But even if you play it stealthily, there will be times when you get caught, especially by arcs. Honestly, arcs aren't as scary as they seem to new players. If you don't want to fight them, the right gear makes escaping pretty easy. Smoke grenade, super useful in both PvE and PvP. Drop it and you are instantly hidden from view. Other players can see you, and arcs start attacking right away. I use this a lot when extracting from arc heavy sites. Lure trap, mainly for PvE, but it's hilarious how well it works. Throw one out, and any arcs chasing you will switch their focus to the trap for about 15 seconds. It's almost too easy. Photoelectric cloak, PvE only, but extremely effective. When you activate it, you get a funny visual effect and sound, but arcs can't see you at all for a short time. Most of the time, if I have a few of these items in my pack, I don't stress about being perfectly stealthy around arcs. They're just that good. So grab a couple of stealth skills and the right tools, and you'll be able to slip away from trouble whenever you need. But even with all the right tools, there's one rule that matters most in arc readers. One thing you learn pretty fast in a PvPvE game like this: never let your guard down. With the right gear and decisions, arcs really aren't a big deal. They're predictable and you can outsmart them. Other readers though, that's where things get interesting. The unpredictability is the fun part. You never know if your next encounter will be a wave and friendly gesture or a quick ambush that wipes out all your loot. From my experience, most players are chill, unless you're in Stellamontes, which is honestly a nightmare. But the times I've got lost the most are when I got comfortable after meeting a few nice players, only to get blindsided by someone looking for an easy kill. If questing is your top priority and you don't want anyone ruining your run, you really can't be too careful. That's why whenever I'm set on finishing a quest or hitting an important goal, I stick to a simple loop. Listen, freeze my camera and scan my surroundings, then move. I found that following this routine helps me spot other players first way more often. Then you get to choose. Do you trust your aim and reflexes and go for the fight, slip away before they even know you are there? Or maybe say hello and hope they are friendly. Either way is your call. But a little caution always pays off. It's the little habits like this that makes all the difference in getting your quest done safely. That's it for my questing tips in Arc Readers. Hope this helped you get through your quest a little smoother and maybe avoid a few mistakes I made along the way. If you've got your own tips and stories, drop them in the comments. Good luck out there and happy reading!